Hey everyone, Howie Fisher with Fisher's Flies. Thanks for checking in. Today I'm tying up a super simple Peridgon that kind of saved two of our altar fly fishing trips this summer in New Mexico. I'll get to the story here in a minute though. So for the hook, I'm using a fulling mill jig forts hook in size 16, paired with a 2.8 millimeter slotted tungsten bead in copper, also from fulling mill. For the thread today, I'm using 70 denier UTC in tan, and I'm going to get started with my thread right behind the bead and kind of jam that bead in place a little bit before snipping my thread off. Really, there's not much innovative about this fly or crazy. This is a pretty simple Peridgon that's very similar to a lot of others. The entire fly really is just medium hollow tinsel in chartreuse, as you see here. And so where this fly kind of came from, or how this saved our trip, is I was testing flies as we were preparing for participants to come for the weeks, and ended up finding out that a chartreuse waltz worm or green waltz worm was particularly productive. And unfortunately, I didn't bring that specific green dubbing with me, but I did have the chartreuse tinsel. So knowing that the shade color really more than the fly pattern specifically was what they were likely keying in on, I whipped up a couple of these Peridgons, and again, to really no surprise, this fly was super productive for us the 2 weeks that we were in New Mexico and brought a lot of fish to the net. And so one thing that I did on a couple of them, and both patterns worked, but it seemed like actually because the water was pretty clear for the most of the part, tying it the way I'm about to show you in a second worked particularly well. So I didn't like how bright this chartreuse was, so I just took my tan thread, flattened it out, and took wraps back over the chartreuse wire, just one layer each direction. And just doing that was enough to dull down the brightness and the flashiness of the chartreuse tinsel. And once you add some UV resin, or even if you don't and the fly gets wet, that chartreuse, and you'll see here in a second, that chartreuse and that hollow flash still comes through that thread, but it's just enough, especially that tan color, is just enough to kind of dull down that brightness or sharpness of the hollow tinsel, if you will. Again, super simple fly, worked really well for us. So if you find fish that are keying in on caddis imitations or green caddis imitations, give this fly a try. So again, thanks for checking in. Tie them up, fish them. Let me know what you think.